Okay. Yeah, I work mainly with the website and social media, and in many ways, I think I work sort of like the bridge between the curators and the audience when it comes to digitally communicating what the curators are doing. So often editing their posts, blog posts for instance. It could also be editing an exhibition site, explaining what the exhibition is about. So in many ways, what I do often is I work a lot with helping them understand how their text or what they want to say fits into the digital medium that we work with in that case. It could be Facebook, it could be a blog post, but being like, okay, this, if you just twist your text like this, it fits better on this platform, or if we do that, it works better. So I often work with like intermediating what they want to say in many ways. Well, SMK strives to be more democratic as an institution, and we strive to change what sort of institution we used to be back in the days where it was all about sitting up in our fine tower speaking difficult, so people had difficulties understanding it, and being like an authority that you couldn't give a question to because they just said what you had to know and then you should just go on. And I think we've tried to change that roles in many ways, both when it comes to the architecture of the museum, when it comes to how we communicate within the exhibitions. We have, for instance, one exhibition where two curators are presenting their view on an artwork. So you can see that there can be differences as well within the curators as to what they think about an artwork, but also to let audiences talk about what's their point of view, and having that displayed within the exhibitions but also digitally. So it's a lot about both being open for dialogue and engaging in that dialogue, but also about giving our audience a voice and giving them a voice that matters. On Facebook, for instance, where I work, we don't post stupid questions like we used to when we just tried out the medium. I think that's fairly common, but we try not to pose a stupid question like, is this red or blue, or I don't know. For instance, a big coffee company in Copenhagen often poses a question like, have you been drinking coffee today? Which, I mean, yes, people can answer to that, but it's not an answer that has meaning or value to anybody. So we try to pose questions where we can use the answers that people are giving to us, and where the answers have value, and where it's really interesting, and we learn a lot about the users or our audiences and what they want from, for instance, Facebook, by letting them, I mean, we're just doing this workshop now on what should our next project be, and we have learned a lot about what are the users interested in from being in dialogue on Facebook, and just their way of reacting to our updates or posting other stuff just gives us a sense of what should we do that would make even more value to them. And I think also about letting them have an opinion about it, what SMK is. We did a big campaign where we had some sentences about what is SMK. SMK is the friendly institution, or just playing around with SMK, the two words SM and K. And then we let the users post their opinions about what was we within this play of words. So people said something with an S and then with an M and then with a K. And people had great, I mean, reflection on what is SMK to them and what does it mean. And they're often a lot more interesting than what we have to say. We're also trying to remove all our own pictures of the gallery from the website and changing them to pictures people have been taking within the gallery. Because they often, I mean, their photos of the gallery is so much more interesting than what we take. Somehow they have they're better at capturing what SMK is in some way. So that's also a thing about letting them have their say in what is we. Also because we're the National Gallery of Denmark, I mean, we are their museum as well. And then I think we're really interested in being the National Gallery of Denmark, but being situated in the capital, which is not like in the center of the country, but is quite to the far east side of the country. being able to have the artworks of Denmark throughout the country. It could be digitally, it could be transporting them, making exhibition in one school somewhere north of Denmark, or doing something which allows people to partake in seeing the artworks every day in their everyday lives, and not just having to go to Copenhagen, but spreading it out. And I think digitally we can do a lot of things there. It could be augmented reality, it could be something else, but you know, if you pass a castle somewhere in the other end of the country and we have an artwork portraying that castle, it would be really nice if people could see that castle in that artwork and then learning more about the artist and so on. So some of these directions would be really interested, and I think that's where we're heading in different ways.